네.
Okay.
You.
It started with a single sentence, a phrase uttered with sincerity, with admiration, and with the kind of awe that can only come from someone who has lived a lifetime under the same spotlight. Jungkook is a legend. The words slipped from the lips of Coldplay's frontman, Chris Martin, during a candid backstage interview after Coldplay's electrifying show in Sao Paulo. The reporter, casually inquiring about musical inspirations and future collaborations, couldn't have anticipated the emotional turn the conversation would take when Jungkook's name surfaced. Chris paused, took a breath, and then said it, with eyes gleaming. Jungkook is a legend. The internet exploded within seconds. The phrase was clipped, reposted, and translated into over 50 languages within the hour. Twitter, TikTok, Weverse, Instagram, no platform was safe from the wildfire. The words echoed across continents, lighting up fan hearts, army accounts, and music blogs worldwide. But this was more than a viral moment. It was the culmination of something far deeper, far richer, and far more emotional than anyone had realized. Chris Martin's admiration didn't come out of nowhere. It was born from a relationship that had grown steadily behind the scenes, rooted in mutual respect and artistic alignment. From the moment BTS and Coldplay collaborated on My Universe, a spark ignited, not just in the charts, but between the members themselves. Chris had always been vocal about BTS's artistry, but it was Jungkook, the youngest, the golden magne, who left a lasting impression on him. During the recording of My Universe, Jungkook had shown up early at the studio, shy but eager, with headphones around his neck and an open heart. Chris remembered that vividly. He sat next to me, he recalled in that same interview. And the first thing he said was, "Thank you for giving us a song that lets us be ourselves." That touched me. Chris had smiled, gesturing with his hands. And then he sang. Just this pure, unfiltered, emotional vocal line. Everyone in the room went silent. And I knew we weren't just making a song. We were part of something bigger. The story of how Jungkook became a legend in Chris Martin's eyes isn't a fairy tale of instant fame or shallow praise. It's a mosaic of moments that shaped Jungkook's identity as an artist, a person, and a global phenomenon. From his humble beginnings in Busan to the stages of Wembley and the Grammy Awards, Jungkook's journey has been marked by discipline, humility, and an almost supernatural connection with music. Chris saw all of it, not just the polished product, but the soul beneath it.in interviews over the past few years. Chris had dropped hints. BTS are more than a band, he once said. They're a cultural force. And Jungkook, he's like, how do I describe it? He's the anchor and the wings at the same time. Fans remembered those words, but none had expected what would come next. When Chris stood on stage last night, thanking his fans and reflecting on Coldplay's decades-long journey, he singled out Jungkook again, this time with more intensity. "There's this young man I've worked with," he said to the roaring crowd. "A singer, a dancer, an artist, a heart as big as the universe. His name is Jungkook. And let me just say it, he is a legend." The arena erupted. Even thousands of miles away, fans watching the live stream burst into tears. Armies trended "Legend Jungkook" within minutes, but Chris wasn't finished. In an Instagram post later that night, he shared a candid photo, Jungkook sitting on a bench outside the studio, strumming an acoustic guitar, sunlight filtering through the leaves above him. The caption read simply, "This is what a legend looks like. #Jungkook, #respect." What struck people wasn't just the sentiment, it was the gravity behind it. Coming from Chris Martin, a man revered in the music world for his lyricism, humility, and authenticity, this wasn't fan service. It wasn't a polite nod. It was genuine reverence. As tributes began to pour in, artists from around the world chimed in. Shawn Mendes reposted the clip with a flame emoji and the word truth. Halsey, no stranger to BTS collaborations herself, commented, "Absolutely deserved." Even Elton John tweeted, "Legends recognize legends." But what did Jungkook himself say? At first, nothing. His social media remained quiet. Fans waited, breath held. Then, 2 days later, a post appeared on Weverse. It was a picture of the Coldplay vinyl Chris had gifted him, signed with a personal message. Jungkook had written, "I don't feel like a legend, but I promise to always live like someone worthy of the love I receive. Thank you, Chris. I'm honored." The sincerity of his words reminded fans exactly why he had earned the title in the first place. What makes someone a legend? Is it fame? Talent? Time? For Chris Martin, it was something else. "It's about presence," he explained. Jungkook walks into a room and doesn't need to speak. He's just music. You feel it in the way he listens, in the way he learns. He's not trying to impress anyone. He's just trying to be true. That's rare. That's legendary. And that presence had been felt long before the title was bestowed. Fans recalled countless performances, Jungkook singing Euphoria at the Rose Bowl, his solo at the Qatar World Cup opening ceremony, the time he trended globally just for jogging through Seoul in a live stream. Each moment, a quiet testament to the aura he carried. Behind the global phenomenon is a man who never stopped learning. Even at the height of fame, Jungkook sought improvement, whether it was in his vocals, his stagecraft, or his understanding of people. He practiced late into the night, sometimes uploading videos of himself dancing alone in the practice room, sweat dripping, eyes focused. That level of dedication is what Chris Martin saw, not just a star, but a craftsman. Jungkook's relationship with Coldplay went beyond the studio. Chris and he had exchanged handwritten letters during their collaboration, bonding over their mutual love for storytelling. He told me, Chris shared, that music was the only place he felt fully free. That's when I knew he was born for it. That letter, later shared in the BTS documentary series, became a cornerstone of understanding who Jungkook really was, a man searching for truth and melody. As this moment spread across global media, analysts began to look deeper at Jungkook's influence. Music journalists called it the Chris Martin stamp, comparing it to the time Chris praised Beyoncé or worked with Jay-Z. When he lifts someone up, the world pays attention. But with Jungkook, they noted, the admiration felt different, more intimate, more enduring. One journalist from Rolling Stone career wrote, Chris Martin did not create Jungkook's legend. He simply named what the world already knew. That statement captured the essence of the moment, not a coronation, but an affirmation. Jungkook was not made a legend because Chris said so. Chris said it because it was already true. In the days that followed, a small video surfaced, a behind-the-scenes clip of Jungkook and Chris laughing in the studio. Chris played a chord progression, and Jungkook hummed along, eyes closed. Then he looked up and asked, "Should we try this one in Korean?" Chris nodded. Music has no borders, my friend. And perhaps that is what makes Jungkook's legend so profound. Not just his talent, not just the love he receives, but the bridges he builds. Between East and West, youth and legacy, discipline and freedom. He is the connective thread in a fragmented world, a symbol of what artistry can be when it's nurtured with authenticity. Chris Martin's words did more than honor Jungkook. They reminded the world why he mattered. Why? In a time of fleeting fame and disposable hits, Jungkook stood out not as a moment, but as a movement. A legend not just because of what he's done, but because of what he continues to inspire. And as the world watches, as new fans discover his voice, his journey, and his soul, one thing is certain: legends don't retire. They evolve. Jungkook's story is far from over.